All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 problems from your homework to help you out with your homework as you go. My wife is cooking in the background, so that's what the random noises will be. She's making vegan spaghetti. It's going to be delicious. All right, so this first problem I'm doing is problem number 15. Okay, we can tell it's going to be horizontal because we got 4x to the first power. All right, that's telling us that it's going to be horizontal. So, and we're also already in standard form, so we don't have to do any rearranging. So I already know that my vertex is going to be 0, 6. Get the 0, there's nothing there with the x, 6 from there. Okay, so next I'm going to get, I need to find out what p is. Remember, for that, I'm going to take 4, and I'm going to take 4, and that equals 4p. So divide by 4, I get p equals 1. Right, that is important because since this is a horizontal parabola, for my focus, which I'm going to have right here, it will be 1, 6, and I get that from doing F equals H plus P. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mark my vertex and my focus. My vertex is at, I'm doing red at 0, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my focus is at 1, 6. Okay, actually let's make the focus a different color. We'll make the focus green. Okay. So next I'm going to get my directrix, and so I'm gonna label that with D. I get my directrix from doing x equals h minus p, so I'm gonna get x equals -1. Alright, so I've got my directrix is going to be at x equals -1. So I got my vertical line here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and draw my parabola right here. Alright, last, my axis of symmetry. Remember, it splits the parabola in half. So that blue dashed line is my axis of symmetry. So that means my axis of symmetry will be y equals 6. Okay? Remember, you can pause this at any moment, go back and look and get everything down. The next example that I'm doing is number 16. Okay. Number 16. Again, so this time I do need to rearrange it. So I'm going to subtract 2y, subtract 12x, and I will have y squared minus 2y box equals -12x minus 13 box. So and then basically I'm in general form and I need to put it into standard form. So at this point I need to do completing the square. So I'll take -2 divided by 2, which gives me -1. Square it, I get +1, and I get +1. So now I will have y minus 1 squared equals -12x minus 12. Alright, remember our next step is to take out our GCF from there. So I'll have y minus 1 squared equals -12x plus 1. Right. So, at this point, I know that my parabola is going to be horizontal because I have x to the first power. At this point, I have everything I need to get everything else. Ooh, I also know that my parabola is going to the left because that's a -12. I should have said on the previous one it was going to the right because P was positive. I forgot to say that, my bad. So since that's a -12, I know that this parabola is going to be going to the left. Okay, so my vertex is going to be at -1, 1. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that at -1, 1. My vertex is green. So again, same thing to get my focus. My focus will be -1 plus P. So I got to find out what P is. So to get P, I'll do -12 equals 4P divided by 4. I get P equals -3. So -1 plus -3. So my focus is at -4, 1. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my focus in blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Focus in blue. And if you want, you can go ahead and draw your parabola. No, it's going to the left because P is negative. Alright. Next, I'm going to get my directrix. And that will be from x equals h minus p. So I got x equals -1 minus a -3. So I'll be +3. So I got my directrix at x equals 2. So going to draw my directrix through x equals 2. It's kind of off center, but you get the point. Alright, and then my axis of symmetry splits my parabola in half. Oops. So, bad line. Nope. One more time. Nope. One more time. Oh my goodness. Alright, so you get the point. This area's freaking out on me. Splits it in half, so my axis of symmetry is at y equals 1. Okay, circle. That's my directrix. Got P, got my focus, got everything there. Alright. Last example problem to help you out with your homework. I'm going to do number 21. Alright, so first step in number 21 is I need to divide the entire thing by 2. And that will now leave me with x squared minus 6y minus 8x plus 10 equals 0. That's alright, I was putting a dash there that looked like a negative. Alright, so you do that because the number in front of the variable squared has to be 1 for it to be a parabola. So to make it 1, you had to divide by 2. Okay. So now I'm going to align my x's and my y's. In this case, the constant 10 will go with the y. So I will have x squared minus 8x box equals positive 6y minus 10 box. Okay? So, next step, I will need to do completing the square. Negative 8 divided by 2 gives me negative 4. Square it, and I get 16 plus 16. So, I will now have x minus 4 squared equals 6y plus 6. Alright. And then last, you need to take out a GCF, so I'll have x minus 4 squared equals 6y plus 1. Alright, so now I have it in standard form. I can get everything I need to graph my parabola. So my vertex, right off the jump, I got 4, negative 1. Okay? 4, negative 1. All right, I can tell this is going to be a vertical ellipse because I have y to the first power. And then p is, or that's positive, p is going to be positive, so it's going to go up as well. So next I'm going to find p. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a fraction. So we'll have 4p equals 6 divided by 4. And we get p equals 3/2. Alright. P equals 3/2. So, to get my focus, I'll have h, then k plus p. So, I'll have 4, comma, negative 1 plus 3/2, which that gives you a focus of 4, comma, 1/2. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mark my vertex at 4, negative 1. Mark it in blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. And my focus is at 4, 1/2. I'll mark it in red. Alright, it's going to be in between. Ooh, yeah, that's right. It's going to be in between 0 and 1. Alright, so next I'm going to get my directrix. In this case, it will be y equals k minus p. So I'll have y equals, k is negative 1 minus 3/2. Alright, so that gives me y equals negative 5/2. So my directrix, right, if you made that mixed number, that would be negative 2.5. Oops. Sorry. Negative 2.5. So I have my line about right here. Nope. Golly, this area's really messed up. Gonna start from there. Alright. Go ahead and draw my parabola. Last, I'm going to get my axis of symmetry. Alright, so splits my parabola in half. So in this case, my axis of symmetry will be x equals 4. X equals 4. So I've got my directrix, my axis of symmetry, I've got my focus, and my vertex, my parabola graph. Alright, so remember on 22 and 23 you're going to have to divide to make the number in front of x squared and y squared 1. Okay, that's the key to those problems. Alright.